Nobody is coming to save you. Part 1. The day everything changed. There comes a moment in every person's life when the waiting must end. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Not when life finally becomes easier. Today. Because the hardest truth you will ever face is this. Nobody is coming to save you. No stranger will suddenly appear and transform your future. No perfect opportunity will knock on your door while you sit still. No miracle will replace the work that only you can do. It is a painful truth, but it is also the most liberating truth you will ever discover. In a forgotten village surrounded by towering mountains lived a young man named Ethan. Every morning before the sun rose above the peaks, he climbed onto the roof of his small wooden house. He would stand there silently, watching the road leading into the village. Every day, he waited. He waited for opportunity. He waited for success. He waited for someone important to notice him. He waited for life to change. Years passed. Nothing changed. The same road, the same mountains, the same dreams. Only Ethan grew older. Deep inside, he believed someone would eventually arrive. Someone wiser. Someone stronger. Someone who would recognize his hidden potential. Someone who would tell him exactly what to do. Someone who would rescue him from the ordinary life he secretly hated. But no one came. One cold winter morning, an old traveler entered the sage village carrying nothing except a walking stick and a worn leather bag. His clothes were covered in dust. His boots showed the marks of thousands of miles. Yet his eyes carried an unusual peace. He stopped in front of Ethan's house. "You've been waiting a long time." Ethan looked surprised. "How do you know?" The traveler smiled. "Because I once stood where you stand. I spent years waiting for someone to change my life." Ethan's eyes filled with hope. "Then tell me, who finally saved you?" The old man remained silent. "Finally," he answered. "No one." Those two words echoed like thunder. "No one?" "No one. The day I stopped waiting for rescue, that was the day my life finally began." The traveler sat beneath an old oak tree. He motioned for Ethan to sit beside him. "Tell me," he asked, "what are you waiting for?" Ethan thought carefully. "I'm waiting until I feel ready." The traveler nodded. "What else?" "I'm waiting for the right opportunity. And I'm waiting for people to believe in me." The old man smiled sadly. "You have built your entire life around waiting." He picked up a seed lying on the ground. "Look at this. If this seed spent its whole life waiting for perfect weather, it would die beneath the soil. It grows because it accepts uncertainty. It grows because it pushes upward through darkness. It grows before it knows what the sunlight looks like." Then he looked directly into Ethan's eyes. "So why are you waiting for certainty before you begin?" Ethan had no answer, because he realized he had spent years hiding. The next morning, Ethan woke before the first light touched the mountains. For the first time in years, he did not climb onto the roof to wait. Instead, he stepped outside and began walking. There was no perfect plan, no guarantee, no certainty. Only one decision: to move. As he crossed the quiet village, people noticed something different. The young man who had spent years dreaming was finally doing. Some smiled. Others laughed. One elderly man shook his head. "It won't last." Another whispered, "People always become motivated for a few days. They always return to who they really are." Ethan heard every word, but he kept walking. Because he was beginning to understand something. People will always have opinions about the life they are not living. Their words were no longer chains. They were only noise. Later that afternoon, the old traveler met Ethan beside a quiet river. Without saying a word, he placed a large mirror on the ground. It was old. Its wooden frame was cracked. Its surface carried scratches from many years of travel. "Look into it." Ethan looked. He saw the same face he had seen every day. "What do you see?" "Myself." The traveler smiled. "No. You see the person you believe yourself to be. There is a difference." Ethan looked confused. The traveler continued. "For years, you believed you were unlucky. So every failure became proof. You believed you were weak. So every challenge became impossible. You believed someone else would rescue you. So every day became another excuse to wait. The greatest prison is not built from stone. It is built from belief." The old man picked up a small stone and threw it into the river. The ripples spread quietly across the water. "Watch." Ethan watched carefully. The river never argues with the stone. It simply continues flowing. So why do you spend your life arguing with every obstacle? The question struck deeply. Ethan remembered every moment he had blamed someone else. His family, his circumstances, his fear, his lack of money, his lack of opportunity. Each excuse had felt reasonable. But together, they had stolen years of his life. The traveler looked toward the mountains. Excuses are comfortable. They protect the ego, but they also destroy potential. The day you stop making excuses, you stop giving your power away. For the next several weeks, Ethan worked harder than he ever had before. He repaired broken fences. He carried water for elderly villagers. He learned new skills from craftsmen. He trained his body before sunrise. He read by candlelight long after everyone else had gone to sleep. Nobody applauded. Nobody noticed. Some even mocked him. Why are you working so hard? What are you trying to prove? Ethan simply smiled. Because he wasn't proving anything to them anymore. He was proving something to himself. That he could become someone stronger than yesterday. One evening, as he returned home exhausted, he looked at his rough,